Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank for Comics of the Week, and we're going to right into it with Avengers issue number 10, the big 700th issue, which actually felt like it could have been the 600th issue or the 500th issue, but whatever. So our comic opens up in Russia, actually more appropriately Siberia, and it turns out someone's been offered a full pardon, but doesn't want a full pardon, wants everything stricken from the record except the people he's eaten. Yes, our person here is Major Mikhail Ursus, codename Ursa Major. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a bear drinking vodka. Why he doesn't drink it straight from the bottle, I don't know. But screw it, it's a bear. Love it. Then we cut to Dmitry Bukharin, who has been approached by Darkstar and Vanguard. And, they're trying to offer him a job, trying to get him to come back. And like everyone else who's like, I've been long retired from the game, and he talks about the fat cats and how he was fired and how they now they want someone who'll tell them when they're stupid and whatnot. And he's like, oh, come on, we need you back. And there's been a whole other department just for him. He will be the Minister of Superhuman Defense, and he's like, the Russian super minister, they have to be desperate. And, what is our quiet guest, from the Red Room? We have someone from the Red Room. Oh, boy. Wanted to know. And this is Red Widow. And, she's the newest product of the Red Room Assassin Training Program. Actual name unknown, because, yeah. And it turns out our boy, Dimitri, was the Crimson Dynamo. And we're looking at his suit. So he was basically the answer to Iron Man for Russia. The question is, what big thing has gotten the Russian government to sort of like, quote unquote, okay this team? Is like, well, it's Namor. And his, Defenders of the Ocean, which is actually pretty impressive. It's got Andromeda, an Atlantean warrior, Man of War, a terrorist jellyfish, because why not? Echidna, the mother of monsters. That's a nice callback. Piranhas, just the piranhas, but they're big piranhas. Blood Tide, a water witch. Orca, the human killer whale. Which, is it a human that's also a killer whale, or a human that kills killer whales? I don't know. We got Tiger Shark, who we saw last issue. King Crab, the world's most powerful crustacean. Is that really up for dispute? I want to see more of that. And they're attacking an aquatic research base who's flat out said, we've never caused any problems. Well, no, that's not the issue. They have to leave the ocean. All non-ocean creatures have to leave the ocean. So what are the Avengers doing? Well, as the call's going out, Ghost Rider and Tony Stark are racing. Thor is talking to Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's like, so why haven't you asked Jennifer Walters out? She's like, well, I didn't think she wanted to. I didn't know we haven't been on a proper date yet. She's like, could you text? Could you text Jen for me? He's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And Captain Marvel will agree to text. What's Jennifer Walters doing? Well, she's with Black Panther, and she's pretty much still lying about exactly how bad her condition is. But before we can truly watch her fail at that, she also gets the call to deal with, Namor. And finally, we have Captain America talking to General Thunderbolt Ross, and he's like, so, you made Black Panther the chairman of the Avengers team, and then you didn't have the Avengers station in the U.S.? Like, what's going on? And Cap's like, well, we don't actually work for the U.S. We help everyone. Cap's like, you know what? I'm out. And he goes, and he also gets the call, so they all go to engage Namor. There's some back and forth, more Black Panther and Namor back and forth. And I love it, because at some point those two will have to come to blows, more than anyone else on these teams. And they all engage in a little throwdown, especially when Cap and Thor attack the piranhas, who are about to, eat one of the innocents. And Namor's like, we don't harm the innocents. And it just escalates into a huge fight. And it looks like they could all sort of go either way for the most part. Everyone's doing their level best. Captain Marvel tries to reach out to Andromeda, and it's Andromeda who points out that, Blood Tide was the happiest little girl in Atlantis until the pollution from the oceans just ravaged her flesh, and that's why she's the Water Witch. It brings us sort of a good perspective exactly what this team is fighting for and the issues. Just when we think it's going to look pretty even, that's when the Winter Guard shows up. The Crimson Dynamo, Darkstar, Chernobog, Red Widow, Vanguard, Perrin, Ursa Major, Vostok, Russia's attempts at the Avengers. And it goes about as well as you'd think. For a while they're all working together, and it looks like, okay, Team Not Namor's got this. Team Not Namor's got this. But then it sort of devolves a bit. A little infighting on, the Winter Guard's part. And that leads to some infighting with Thor and Ursa Major and Captain America and Vanguard and Hulk and Chernabog and Iron Man and the Crimson Dynamo. At some point, you think Namor's like, so, do we not matter anymore? And in effect, we just leaves Namor like, you know what, we're out. You guys get yourself together, and we're just gone. And this whole time, Red Widow is actually observing and watching, and is also reporting on exactly what's been going on. We don't quite know who Red Widow is reporting to, but by the end of it all, both teams sort of leave with a bit of bad blood in the taste. Although with a lot of great little crossover shots of everyone facing who they're supposed to be fighting or who their counterpart is, and it looks mildly interesting. Not super interesting, but mildly interesting. Then we cut to Jonathan Thunderbolt Ross going over the pictures, and he's talking to some mysterious figure who turns out to be Agent Coulson, who has assembled the Squadron Supreme of America. And if you thought they were a Justice League ripoff before, oh my god, look at them now. And you would think that would be it, but this is the 700th issue Spectacular, so we've got a couple more. The Wasp going to recruit Blade to join the Avengers. We have Thor, Robbie Reyes, and a drunk Odin talking about the Star Brand and the other Ghost Riders. And we have Wolverine talking to Loki about how more stuff is coming in the future. And that's ultimately how the comic ends. So Avengers issue number 10 is actually, it's really fun. I really do feel it's super fun. I don't think it's worthy of being the 700th issue Spectacular. It's only like 46 pages, so an additional 16 pages. And it just didn't quite feel like it was worth it. And primarily because 700 issue just doesn't feel that interesting. You want to hear like issue 1000. But you hit 100 issue. So you have to do something about it. Overall, though, still good. Next is Detective Comics number 992. So this story is pretty much a straight line. It pretty much is. It's Two-Face and Batman engaging with Cobra, and the Two-Face getting the rundown exactly what Cobra is from Batman. So they're a cult, and they've kind of fallen on hard times, like we found out last issue. And pretty much what is happening here is just the fact, they're trying to get a foothold. They've got some other plans going on, but this is one of their big ones. So it's pretty much just Batman and Two-Face teaming up, working together, the new dynamic duo, or the terrific trio, I guess. And Batman telling Two-Face, like, don't kill him. And I was like, I've got 2 guns, right? I'm just saying, like, fine, only wounds. And that's pretty much it. There's not much to this fight scene to really talk about. There's a bit about Cobra, and there's talk about how each Cobra group has a leader called a Naga. And, Naga communicates with all the other groups, and that's pretty much it. Like, nothing of interest really happens until the end when Batman finds the Naga of this leader of this group, and he says, okay, well, we're going to hack his comm, hack his computer that's in his helmet, and we're going to find out what he knows. And then we communicate with Alfred, who gives us a rundown. The fact, there were other spots, and other members of the Bat family have taken it on. Black Lightning and Katana, they did a thing. Batgirl and Orphan did a thing. The Fireflies did a thing, because why not? Batwoman and the Signal did a thing. And it all just sort of worked out in the end. It was really, really solid and kind of dull. But that's because this isn't the end of the story. It turns out that Cobra has another plan, another really big move. Putting mind-controlled substances in the Gotham City sewer. So, yeah, the points on Cobra. And that's how the comic ends. So going back into the sewers is something we already did in Detective Comics. When Batman and his team of, Orphan, Batwoman... Was Tim Drake? No, Tim Drake was still dead. And Spoiler wasn't on the team. And Azrael and Batwing and Clayface, we're going down in the sewers to fight the League of Shadows and Lady Shiva. So it's nice to know we're doing something else down in the sewers, but I'm hoping we'll still get like some callbacks to that. But overall, this was all right. This is sort of like, the deep breath before the plunge of the actual story we want to see. It's Fantastic Four issue number 3. So this one is sort of almost all out there story for a bit. It really didn't live up to the hype that was set last issue when Reed Richards called everyone that's ever been on the Fantastic Four back. They're also like, so why are we here again? So did Reed just separate us from our friends and family? And Luke Cage is specifically upset about that because Luke Cage loves family. And, Reed's like, so now that we're all here, we've got the ability to win. And our baddie of the week, so like, no. You're just mere motes, specks of dust adrift from the cosmos. No, this isn't going to help you. It's not going to help. And you already knew that. You heard me say it before, haven't you, Reed? And that's when Reed remembers his voice years ago when he locked himself in his lab to try to solve this, to try to find the solution of everything. The solution of everything, because that's who Reed Richards is. Just never happy, trying to solve everything. And every time he felt he hit a rock, there was a voice going on saying like, you lose, and that's when Reed realized like, wait, if he kept saying it, that means I was close. And he's like, okay, I got this. Like, it's effectively, I think at some point Dan Slott watched an episode of Doctor Who, I'm like, oh, so we do this, all right? Because now this is just Reed Richards' plan going through. So I got a plan, all right? So everyone here that I've brought, with the exception of the actual members of the Fantastic Four, go off screen. Just go off screen and do a thing. And that's what they do. They all go off screen to do a thing, and then the Fantastic Four have a huddle. It's really cute. It's really sweet. The only problem is Ben Grimm's face is just terrible. I just can't. And then we see Valeria and Franklin. They see Uncle Johnny, and they see Uncle Ben. They're like, oh, they're so happy. Yeah. It's a really touching moment. And that's when Reed goes, all right, so here's what happens. All right, we got a plan. Valeria, I want you to go down to the wreckage of the ship, and you'll know what to fix when you get there. And Johnny, tell him when only one teleporter is left. I need you to do that. And everyone else that isn't messing with the ship, that isn't going with Valeria to do the thing with the ship, and isn't watching the teleporter, you're guarding Franklin. Franklin's the key to everything. And that's the plan. That's ultimately the plan. It's sort of the most Doctor Who thing ever. Franklin's freaking out because, he's failed before at this. And Peter Parker or Spider-Man tries to go up there and talk, hey, you've got this great power. But guys should know that with great power comes great responsibility. Banner's like, okay, that's stupid. We're not doing that again. Go away. And, you listen to me. You listen to your Uncle Ben. All right? And again, if not for this face, I would totally love this scene. Like, how we win in times like this. Somebody knocks us down, we get back up, and we keep getting back up till what needs to be done gets done. And Frank's like, but he can't, like, hey, you don't have to. I said we. You're not doing this alone. With your family now, we got your back. He's like, okay, I got this. And they have a great it's clobbering time moment, and I do love that, because we can't see a lot of Ben Grimm's face. And, the Fantastic Family, the entirety of it, all gets ready to do some stuff. Valeria goes down to, well, not the ship, but the machine Reed Richards was working on. We realize, okay, look, like she doesn't quite sure what she's supposed to do with it. Like, it's almost beyond, like, oh, wait, there we go. And then we see the Human Torch going through, like, yeah, well, what else is in here? And he sees the Hulk. Hulk's like, shh, you didn't see me here. I'm not here. And I guess he's just going off somewhere. As Johnny has to pretend like, oh, yeah, there was no one else here. So we're all good. So then our monster, whose name I still haven't remembered, she says, like, I am the Griever, I am the embodiment of entropy, I am yet destruction, I know, with all the power to destroy, but none to create. That isn't your ship, is it? You took it from a realm you destroyed. And she's like, ugh, he found it out. And like, we've left you with one working teleport that has enough power to get you back to your own realm. So go now, or we'll destroy it and we'll strand you here in one finite universe, your choice. And he's like, this isn't over. I'll get you, Fantastic Four. And a little menagerie of people we'll never see again, too. So everyone is having a great little pat on the back. Yeah, we did it. We're awesome with the Fantastic Four. And yeah, so it turns out the machine was broken, not destroyed. So Valeria and the rest of the Fantastic Four know how to fix it. So we're all good. Everyone's getting pats on the backs, fist bumps, and the comic ends with the Fantastic Four doing another hug and finding out that Ben's marrying Alicia, and all's right with the world. So this issue was fine, in my opinion, and it was actually sort of fun, but the problem is we didn't quite live up to the hype of everyone being brought here to really do nothing. Like, half the people that were brought don't even really speak, and a little over half actually are seen doing something. And Luke Cage had no reason to be there. Just saying it now. My only really true gripe with this is Ben Grimm's face. Like, oh my god, what is this? I don't like this. He looks too cartoonishly happy. It's kind of irksome. Finally, we have Wonder Woman issue number 58. So, this story opens up in, well, primarily at the bottom of Themyscira, or at least in another dimension on Themyscira, possibly. And it's Grail, who seems to have done a complete 180 of being bored, hanging around Ares, who just sort of had all this time to sort of think, to be introspective. He's like, you know what? I've come to realize who the real hero, the real victor is. It's not war, it's time. And he talks about how, so many others have been forgotten. So many great kings that he knew, so many great monsters and battles. Some of them will never be remembered. He's like, so what am I supposed to do? There is something that transcends even time. Mithridates is forgotten, yet mortal men worship a carpenter who never held a sword. Oh, Jesus. It's love, isn't it? It's always love. Like, no, it's not love. That's stupid. It's justice. I have learned all I can learn in this pit. I have seen my folly. All I want now is justice. Final justice. And he grabs Grail's like, well, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, do it. Do it now! And Grail slashes Ares by the throat. You're like, oh no, oh god, what did I do? What did I do? And Ares is dying, and it's like the dimension breaks open. Lita and Queen Apollo's like, what have you done? And then the comic cuts to a sweet little dream Diana's having about Steve. And it turns out Steve went off somewhere. He went off to a mission, and Diana gets a call from Etta Candy. It says like, oh yeah, so I wanted to tell you this before you saw it on the news, but Steve's unit came under heavy fire during a covert operation to protect the Prime Minister's residence from insurgents. He was separated from his unit. He's MIA. Look, don't panic. We're making contact with the insurgents, and it's possible he's just a hostage, a bargaining chip, in which case he's alive. I just need you not to be you and go out there with a sword and creating a whole situation. And as we know, definitely what happened, she could have at least taken her cell phone with her. She's gone off to Durovnia, and, well, some kid's about to be shot by 2 American soldiers. Diana stops. Is like, what are you doing? You were about to fire on a child. And one of the soldiers goes, you're one of them. The thing that came through, like, what are you talking about? And before she can find out, Etta Candy's there with the helicopter, like, what are you doing? I thought we had a discussion about this. Like, I don't remember having a discussion. You told me something, and then I did a thing. And, Etta's like, those soldiers you just took out on our side, like your side, Commander. And it's sort of a bit of an explanation of exactly what's been going on. That, the U.S. had a long-standing treaty with the government of Durovnia, the democratic, economically stable. The only problem is they suppress the independent movement of the indigenous ethnic minority democratically, of course. It's the tyranny of the majority. It's all sort of, I think, sort of faux political science mess. Or really, this could be actual legitimate political science. I don't entirely care as long as the story's good. And they go off somewhere. It turns out the kid has actually been guiding these monsters around. One looks like a Pegasus, one looks like a Minotaur goat man, one looks like an actual goat man, or a satyr, to be appropriate. So Diana then descends upon the battlefield again, and talks about how it's all war without honor now. How the fact, these guys are about to fire on women and children, like, well, what's going on? What is going on? And then Diana is struck with a battle axe. She's able to block it, and she goes like, wait. The guy goes, I know you. He's like, kinswoman at last. She's like, no, it can't be. Do you not recognize me? It is I, Ares. I've returned to find you and to battle alongside you against tyranny and injustice. And that's how the comic ends. So, this was pretty interesting. This is G. Willow Wilson's first issue on Wonder Woman, the beginning of her new run. So far, pretty solid. I like the art. Still too early to really tell. Everything seems pretty upfront. I mean, I'm not quite sure The political commentary on the military, though, I don't think it's anything overly harmless. Um, the problem is with something like that, I usually like to see both sides of the argument. You can't just show soldiers constantly shooting kids and women. It just sort of, I think, presents a dishonest representation of a complex situation. But overall, looks fun. I love that Ares is just here. Like, you know what? I've had a long time to think about it, and I've realized I'm not the problem anymore. It's injustice. And I am now going to be the god of war, but I want to fight for justice. Overall, good issue. Looking forward to more. Keep up the good work, G. Willow Wilson, or at the very least, stay on. With that in mind, we'll bring this video to a close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some of my other videos on this channel. It really helps, and I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. May your fandom serve you well.